Hello and welcome, I'm your Code Monkey. The Asset Store is full of awesome tools and assets to help you make your own games. There's more and more awesome visual stuff coming out every month, so in this video let's check out some highlights for October 24. Even if you don't pick up any of these, it's still great to look at them to see if they inspire you to build something. Just watching some of these assets is enough to fire up my imagination. I can immediately picture all the kinds of games that I could build. This one is a list of paid assets and effects. I've already made 2 videos covering the best free new assets and best tools and systems. As always, there's links to the assets in the description, and as a bonus you can use the coupon code Monkey10 to get 10% off your order. And if you're making something for Halloween, check out the sale on the Cinti store. They've got a bunch of gorgeous, really spooky packs at 70% off, perfect for making any kind of horror games. Or to celebrate the release of Unity 6, Unity is actually having a great mega bundle. This one has a super deep discount at 97% off. It contains a whole bunch of assets and tools. For example, for character customization, you've got this pack. You can follow my tutorial and use these assets. For some awesome tune shading, check out this one. You've got some gorgeous magical sound effects. And perhaps best of all, it includes the all-in-one sprite shader. I think this mega bundle is worth it just for this one. I did a full review on this asset and I highly recommend it. Really awesome for polishing any kind of 2D sprites. Then just a quick mention, on my last game dev report, I covered a really awesome story. It's how Sakurai spent $600K on the education for a brighter future for video games. Check out the whole story on my latest game dev report. Another quick mention, stay tuned for tomorrow where I should be able to publish the last lecture on my Unity Dots course. I've been working super hard to get it done and I'm really happy with the final result. Alright, so starting off with a really cool effect called Dynamic Voxelizer. I've never seen anything like this. You take a normal mesh, something with polygons, and then you can easily convert it into voxels in a really satisfying manner. It doesn't just instantly appear, it can actually show up in a nice interpolated manner. This is a really cool effect. It works on meshes and skin meshes. Like I said, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this, so this is definitely an easy way to make your game stand out. Then if you need some animations, here is a super fast fighting pack. It's basically a superhero animation pack. Lots of attack animations that look really powerful. If you've ever wanted to make your own Superman game, then this would be perfect. This pack is for in-air fighting animations, but the dev has other packs for ground combat, jumping, landing, and so on. Next, if you need an environment, here is a nice 2D deserted temple. I always love the assets by this publisher. The videos and screenshots always have some excellent lighting that makes the assets really pop out. This one is a deserted temple, so this would be perfect if you want to make a game inspired by Indiana Jones or Tomb Raider. Maybe just have fun creating some ancient traps minigames. For example, just like the beginning of Tomb Raider 3, this one comes with almost 700 high quality assets. Then here is a really cool pack with sci-fi animals. I love mechs, so I love this one right away. You've got all kinds of robotic animals. There's a gorilla, bear, cat, and dog, each of them fully animated with 4 unique skins. So these could be some great companions in some sci-fi game, or perhaps some enemies in something like Horizon Zero Dawn. Next, if you want some stylized first-person weapons, look at this one. First-person animations are always a bit tricky. Most packs are in third person. This one is great and includes 13 different weapons. Also has 5 grenades and even has fists. Looking at the weapon list, I would say that the publisher is probably a fan of Counter-Strike. You've got an AK-47, a USP, Glock, Desert Eagle, M41, P90, FAMAS, and a bunch more. Basically, all the weapons in Counter-Strike, they're all in this pack. Or if you need some magic effects, check out this one. This is super high quality, they look really detailed. You've got 30 magic effects, there's some really unique ones. For example, one seems to pull enemies into the void, another one spawns some demon dogs, and some are really just satisfying disintegration effects. They all come with sound effects, which goes a long way to really selling the effect. If you have a semi-realistic fantasy game, then this does look awesome. If instead you have something stylized, then here is a nice modular weapon pack. This is a really fascinating asset, I really like it. The weapons have all kinds of parameters you can tweak. You can play with the blade length, play with the thickness, the curve, and a bunch more. You can also change the guard, the grip, and the pommel. And on top of shape, you can also customize the color. So this looks like a really great asset. With just this one, you could make all the hundreds of unique weapons for your game. Next, if you're working on a horror game, here is a spooky characters pack. I've made a video before talking about the strategy of doing a horror game because those seem to do very well. So if you want to try that strategy, then this pack would be a great starting point. It includes 2 characters, there's a witch and a maniac, definitely very creepy. The characters have 4K textures and a humanoid rig. Then if you want a high quality fantasy town, perhaps an environment for your horror game, then look at this one. With bright lighting, this looks like it could belong in something like Lord of the Rings, or if you put this with some dark lighting, then it could look just straight out of Resident Evil. It's a giant pack with 1400 modular prefabs, all of them including LEDs for performance. There's a demo scene included with 2 villages and a fortress, so this is a great way to very quickly get started. Next, for something more fun, here are some stylized tentacles. Definitely a very unique asset. My initial reaction is this would be great for a game kind of like Sea of Thieves. But this could also work on something like League of Legends. This could be a skill from a character. The effects are all really well made. It is definitely niche, but if you need some tentacles, then this is it. Then if you want to break some stuff, here are some breakable props. I've covered how to handle destruction in a previous tutorial. The main thing you need is really just 2 prefabs, one normal and one broken. So here you have tons of common objects, all of them in those 2 states. They're all in a realistic style. You've got lots of concrete parts, some wood, barriers, beams, and a bunch more. And if you want to break stuff, you'll likely also want some explosions, so here's a nice pack. It features some super realistic explosions. In total, you've got 12, everything from some small explosions to some really giant bombs. For example, if you have a Mafia game, this could maybe work as some kind of car bomb, or really anything with grenades or missiles. These effects, they have 16 lighting, which means they'll look great in any lighting scenario. Then if your game is meant to be more on the gory side, you can look at these blood decals. They are animated, which looks much better than something static. Decals are a great way to polish your games. You can apply this decal on any geometry. So as your player character attacks some enemies, you can spawn this on the floor to make it feel much more impactful. Next, here we have an excellent looking environment. It's a Firewatch tower. It is extremely well detailed. The scene includes 2 towers on a mountain range overlooking a giant forest. It reminds me of the level in Days Gone, so this would be a perfect base on some kind of zombie survival game. Or for something more sci-fi, here are some humanoid robot characters. It includes 10 humanoid robots with different shapes and colors. They come with 26 animations, so just with this pack, you could make all the enemies for some kind of action platformer, maybe something like Ratchet & Clank. Next, for something quite a bit more creepy, here is a Biomass webs environment. It definitely is quite creepy. It reminds me of Shelob's Lair, but in a more sci-fi setting. So you could perhaps populate this with some scary spiders, or perhaps maybe something straight from Starship Troopers. Then if you want to apply some effects to your UI or sprites, look at this one. It is a collection of 25 shader effects. You've got shock, fire, glitch, fisheye, TV, and tons more. All of them super easy to apply to any sprite or UI. Or how about some tools? If so, here is a low poly pack. This one has quite a lot of stuff. You've got over 100 tools and objects, all of them in just one single material. You've got power tools and hand tools. There's some road construction stuff, and there's a bunch of pipes you can connect together. Next, if you have a sword game, here is some really nice VFX. It's a pack of 19 whirlwind effects. Some are really unique. There's one with cards flying. There's another one with some really strange butterflies. And of course, you've got the standards, so fire, water, void, and a bunch more. Or perhaps you want to make something like Stardew Valley. If so, here's a great starting point. It's some really great looking pixel art. The pack includes the environment, but also the characters. You've got items, different biomes, enemies, and a bunch more. The characters also have animations, and it includes multiple crop types. So this really is a great starting point for some kind of farming game. Alright, so those are my top 20 new visual assets on the Unity Asset Store for October 24. There's links all in the description, and as a bonus you can use the coupon code Monkey10 to get 10% off your order. And if you're making something for Halloween, check out the sale on the Cinti Store.